Ebusiafo ma kwaba e de Ghanatube so ensem a ekoso ewo oman ni mu onsa ebeka na sene amatena se amaje akonye se ensem a ekoso no makwakoboaboa ebi ano e de apa ebusiafo ye ensem no entempa no ye beka kotie ensem no na yeba na matwa so e de amount.
Right, let's go on to one of the big conversations that have been happening in the country over the last 24 to 48 hours. It has to do with cocoa. The minority in parliament has rejected the new cocoa producer price for the next cocoa season, describing it as a deception and fraud. The caucus observed that government is deliberately taking farmers for granted despite their contribution to the economy. They want the ministers of finance and agriculture to render an apology for failing to honor their campaign promise.
The finance minister on Monday announced that the increment represents 70% of the gross free-on-board value of $7,200 per ton, one which aligns with President Mohammed's promise to cocoa farmers. But the minority on the Food, Agric and Cocoa Affairs Committee would not have any of that. They have taken government to the cleaners and demanded justifications.
You agree with me that our hard-working cocoa farmers deserve better than this Sakawa price. Today, the Ivorian farmer at the current exchange rate is receiving the equivalent of 3,635 Ghana cedis per bag of 64 kilos, a staggering 407 Ghana cedis more than what Cocoa Board is paying. This stark difference presents an irresistible incentive for smugglers to divert Ghanaian cocoa across the border.
Whether or not the Ghana Cocoa Board is insolvent, the minority have a simple request. They want government to account for the revenue Cocoa Board made in the 2024-2025 season.
What they have failed to tell Ghanaians is how much revenue Cocoa Board had generated from cocoa sales in the 2024-25 season. Is that amount in excess of 3 billion? And at the time, the exchange rate was 15 Ghana cedis to $1. And I do that you didn't bore a man. But apart from bra me wu ya me yure ho pa no and run it no crane maker and run it down me yure ho pa. If you say,
the minority has urged the government to stop the lamentation and deliver its promises. Eric Opoku wants the Agric minister to go back to the farmers and apologize to them. He also wants the finance minister, who controls the purse, to cough up money to redeem this promise which they made to the farmers. He believes that it is totally unacceptable to give the farmers such a raw deal.
Is this figure of 3,228.75 per bag, is it what His Excellency was referring to when he said cocoa farmers will be very, very, very happy when the producer price is announced in August? Honorable Eric Opoku will have to go back to Dadia Swaba and apologize unreservedly for his failed promise. Fortunately, Honorable Atoforsen is now the finance minister. He controls the purse. He has to find the money to pay what he promised.
It is a conversation that will not settle anytime soon. Fused with politics, economic and welfare concerns, the perspectives will continue to differ. But in the end, how much the farmer takes home is all that matters. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Parliament.
Meanwhile, some cocoa farmers in the Ashanti region have expressed frustration over the recent 128 cedi increase in farm gate price of cocoa, calling it insufficient to alleviate their financial struggles. The adjustment announced by the finance minister for the 2024-2025 season has been met with widespread disappointment.
New price raises farm gate rate from 3,100 Ghana cedis to 3,229 cedis per bag, but many farmers say this increment is negligible compared to the promise the government made to them.
I don't think really anybody will appreciate this. If you promise me 6,000 and you couldn't even give me 6,000, at least 4,000 or 5,000 could have done. But to increase the cocoa price by 128 cedis by announcing FOB, what? Did they consider FOB and the rate of the dollar before they announced that the cocoa price should have been 6,500 and 7,000?
Whatever and the MY Tina what if one trim free so near who say one to cocoa.
Farmers report that the cost of key inputs such as fertilizers and pesticides have been squeezing their already thin profit margins. Some fear that the meager price adjustment could lead to increased smuggling of cocoa to neighboring countries, offering better prices, and also reduce production, as farmers may abandon cocoa for more lucrative crops.
If I'm at the border with Ivory Coast, I don't think I'll sell my cocoa in Ghana. I'm asking Mr. Dr. Tuforsen, he should set up a foundation, a Two Austin Foundation, and I will donate 128 cedis, 75 pesos to him for every bag of cocoa that I'll harvest this year, so that I'll let him know that without his 128 cedis, 75 pesos, I will survive.
I currently own a 4.5-acre cocoa farm, but I'm considering selling it to explore other business opportunities, as cocoa farming has not been as profitable as expected. Without better compensation, the cocoa farmers say Ghana risks losing them to alternative livelihoods, threatening the country's cocoa dominance in the long run. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Ashanti region.
Right, so clearly the conversation has gone, in different ways and tangents. But what we are here to do is to try and let you have a fair idea of how cocoa pricing has been over the years, and how between 2022 and 2025 there has been a sharp increase in how much cocoa farmers are paid. So as far back as 2015, the last about 10, 11 years, the pricing of cocoa per bag has been relatively stable. So especially between 2015, when it went up by just 50 cedis, it went to 475, and that amount was sustained between 2016 and 2018. Coming 2019, saw a marginal increase. 2020 and 2021, same pricing. But between 2021 and 2022, there was another sharp increase. But the sharpest happened between 2022 and 2024 ending. And why has this been so? This has been so because between 2015 and around 2020, the CD-dollar ratio had been fairly stable. So, a CD to the dollar wasn't as huge. Now, the jump came in between 2022 and 2024, when you needed about 16 cedis, depending on where you exchange your rates at, you needed about 16 or 17 cedis to get $1. And that in itself was one of the reasons that influenced how much a bag of cocoa sold for. So you could tell that from 2022, where a bag was sold for 800 cedis, just a year after, it was sold for over 2,000 Ghana cedis. That's quite a huge jump. Again, between 2022 and 2023, we saw another huge jump. So we had 2,070 Ghana cedis per bag to 3,100 per bag. And this was when we had the cedi's biggest depreciation as against the dollar. Coincidentally, if you look at between 2024 and 2025, the last few months, the cedi has appreciated quite well against the dollar, where now you need about 10 cedis to get $1. If the theory here is anything to go by, where we have had a stable relationship between the two currencies, and you compare it to this period when there was a vast gap, naturally, this increment will make sense depending on which side of the political divide you're at. But farmers, politicians are all having a say about the cocoa pricing. And what we are just here to do is to let you understand that the relationship between our local currency and the foreign trading currency, especially the dollar, has a massive effect or impact on how much cocoa is sold. So that's how come now government has increased it from just 3,100 to 3,228, where people or some farmers are disagreeing with. So that's just a fair perspective or context to the pricing of the last window for cocoa.
Yo ebusia for ya makotie ensem no aba me gidi se utie ni ye pa ubetimi eja comments no amami ewo comment section na mejebore akenkan ni nyina ede amo ansa na medesa edition beba ewie na ebusia information say na first time hwe me ewo channel we so a ebusia for subscribe na hit notification bell no efa mama for more and quick updates after remember we fi say obe like na wasan share ye videos ni nyina amaye aha Ghanatube so mo amodofo snowing ni sisi ade makram.